Ladies and gentlemen, it is Thursday the 7th of November. Not long to go until Farming Simulator 25 releases. Are we all excited? Are we all going a little bit bonkers? I know I am. Tomorrow, Friday the 8th, we'll see the start of early access content coming out. But today's blog post is all about steering assist, GPS and AI workers. I know what you're thinking, because we're all thinking it. I did get a go when we got the when we went to the FS25 preview event, and I have to say it worked pretty well. I was very impressed with it. I know people are still sceptical, but anyway, should we have a look, see what it all says. So, need helping hands on the fields, or let's say assistance. Not only have we reworked, this is Giants, the AI helpers to be more precise and reliable, every vehicle can now use a GPS-driven steering assistant to farm smarter, not harder. Unless you want to be old school, the choice is yours. You can do it any way you want. Of course you can. You haven't got to use it. You don't have to. So, smarter helpers. Pressing the key to activate an AI worker will instantly let a hired hand take over as before. Like we do AI workers already. Holding the button down, and you'll see when you get, when we get into the game and the game starts playing, if you have the help window open, top left on the screen, as you do on FS22, it will give you your options. If you hold down that button, rather than just hiring a worker, hold it down, it will offer you some additional settings. So, the first of two modes is the AI worker. It's dedicated to the functionality of your virtual helper. The ideal settings are already pre-selected, so looking at the screen that should be up, if I've got this right, should be showing the AI worker and that menu. What does it all mean? The ideal settings, as I've just said, are pre-selected, so you can set it on auto. So depending on the size and shape of your field, you can preview exactly how it will operate. So in that screen, it will show you the field, it will show you how it's already mapped, and you should be good to go. But you've got some options to switch and change. Working with. That is based upon the tool of the respective action that should be performed. If multiple tools are attached, you can customize the width to take overlaps into account. So you might have a cultivator at one width and a seeder at another. If you want it to cultivate but also seed, you've got to be careful. There'll be some tweaking, as it is with the game now. You've got to be careful you don't cultivate over something you've just seeded and that kind of thing. But it does give the option to adjust that working width to make it custom if the presets, the auto, is not what you want. Number of headlands, that is based on the machine and action, but that can also be changed. So if you've got something with a wide header or a cultivator that's wide, it will have those headlands wider. It might put in 2, it might put in 3 automatically. So if it does the headlands first, it gives you the ability that the worker can then turn round in those headlands. It's got enough space. But again, you can put more or less depending on what you want to do. That's entirely up to you. So one of those things that if people start tweaking these and people then start saying, the AI worker's not working, it could be you've tweaked something or adjusted something and you haven't given it the room it needs. So just something to be aware of. So work the headlands. This tells your helping hand if the defined area should be handled like the rest of the field, therefore cultivated, harvested, or just defined as lanes to turn vehicles, for example. So you can have to work the headlands on or off. So you might not want to work the headlands. You might want to do the interior of the field first and have your turning space. That's up to you. But then it goes on to start with, and that defines where the worker will start. So will it do the headlands first and then go into the middle? Again, if you're harvesting, you probably want to do the headlands first, then start going up and down. If you're seeding, cultivating, that kind of thing, you might want to start with the inner of the field and then do the headlands afterwards, because you don't want to be going over what you've already done. So you've got some ability to tweak this and adjust it as you go. Then skip lines is an interesting one. So skip lines orders the helper to leave some more room between the lines. This gives you some room to operate your own machines in between, for example. Now there might be a whole number of reasons why you decide you want it to skip lines. Some testing will need to be done on this, because if you do set that on skip lines or accidentally and it goes up and down the field and it leaves a strip, every other strip is left, if you suddenly realise can you put a worker back? Will it then fill in those strips? Potentially. But it does give the option, if you're working with a hired worker, if the worker does every other strip and then you do every other strip, that's pretty cool. I like the idea of that. Sounds pretty smart. So we've got some images of cotton harvesters doing their thing with the various different lines and stuff laid out. I think it goes into a little bit more detail in a little while about what the lines all mean. Some cultivating happening as well. So when the AI worker starts, he, she, they will choose the best direction of operating their machines in addition to the settings given. They will always prioritise working within the borders of a field. So we shouldn't have a problem with them going outside. They should stay within. Now, again, my suggestion would be, having fiddled around a little bit, and I mean a tiny, tiny bit with it at the preview event, you've got to give the worker a bit of a chance. When you set it off, you might initially think, what is it doing? Where is it going? And it will find its path. If it does go all horribly wrong, you can always go back into the settings, set it back to auto, and then hopefully it'll, have a tweak around with it. But it shouldn't go outside the borders of the field anymore. Then we move on to assisted steering. So if you want to operate your machines yourself instead of paying a worker to do the job for you, you can do that. With every tractor in game, as is possible in real life, you can retrofit older models with GPS functionality, which is convenient. You can then run it as a GPS system. And with the GPS system, I know a lot of people have talked about this before. This is the preview. This has given us a little bit more information with the screens. That you can find the lines. The lines are still there. They're the same lines. The menu is almost exactly the same as for an AI worker because it's mapped the same way. You find the line, and when you then press to sort of hook onto the line, you've still got to accelerate. You've still got to raise and lower the machine. You've still got to turn it on and off, and you've still got to do the turns at the end. But then when you find your line, you press it, you get a beep, and off it goes again. So it acts more like a GPS. So switching from the AI worker tab to the steering assist GPS, a few other settings become available that allow you to customize how the field is handled by the steering assistant. So working width, again, is set in accordance with the tool used. Automatic, but you can fiddle around with it if you want to. It's entirely up to you. Number of headlands, also customizable. It's automatically set, but again, fiddle around with it. Work direction can be changed in degrees. Now this is interesting. In case you want to operate in a direction where you don't look at the sun at noon or something like that. So if the way it's set on the map already is not how you want it, I think that's bonkers. You can change it. Go into the work direction, take it off automatic and set it at a different angle. For whatever reason you might want to do that. It's up to you. Side offset. This can also be changed in case you have tools attached that have an offset. Things like mowers, for example. If you've got a front mower with a rear side-mounted mower, you've got an offset on your vehicle, you might be able to fiddle around and adjust your offset. Again, you can have it in automatic, depending on the vehicle machinery. It should work out for you, but you can adjust that. Then show lines. So show lines enables or disables the 3D lines you can see live on the field. So if that's not immersive, if you're looking thinking, well, in real life I wouldn't be able to see these lines, you can turn them off. That's not a problem at all. But if you want to have them on there, especially when you first get going, it makes it a little bit easier to see where the lines are. So whether you operate in third-person view or look onto the soil from within the cab, you can adjust that as well. So again, a few different images there of a couple of tractors, one with the orange line as you come up to it, then it turns green once you switch it on, following that along, and then I think we've got a couple with harvesters as well. It says, with the live display of the lines, you can always see what's happening when operating the machine. The HUD will display a ready indicator as part of the dashboard when you have aligned the machine to a line and you can start. So if you've got those lines turned off, if you've turned off the 3D lines, there will be an indicator on the HUD. So when you come along and you come to a line, it says as part of the dashboard, when you've aligned the machine to a line, it will come up ready, boom, and then you switch it on, beep, and off it goes. It's all very exciting. So we've now got some more images of different machinery with the lines on the field. So it's now going to go in and it's going to talk about the lines. What do the lines mean? A selected line is displayed in orange. This will turn green as soon as you begin to drive. So if that's your selected line, that's fine. It will turn green as soon as you press on the to get going. Meanwhile, the working width of your machine is depicted in blue lines. All lines to do that are left to do are displayed in white. They are greyed out as soon as they're done. So again, we've got a few more images there showing you the orange, the blue, and then the white lines. So that tells you you've got your line you're going to be on, you've got your working width of your vehicle with blue, and then the white lines are what's left to be done on the field. I think it's very cool. Now, there's going to be more to this. Obviously, you know, as people start to fiddle around, people have also asked, and we had this question asked at FarmCon, if you combine fields together, if you plough fields together, if you plough your own field, if map makers, modders make their own maps, this mapping system should work regardless. That's going to be some testing as soon as I can get my hands on and start playing. I want to do some testing on that. Take two fields that are mapped already, plough them between, so you've got one bigger field, and see how the AI system and the steering assist system works. Will it pick all that up straight away? It's supposed to. That's what we're kind of hoping for. So fingers crossed with all of that. So there we go. A bit more information, a bit more in depth. You can go back and have a look at those. I think those AI setting, the steering assist and the AI worker screens that show the different options on there, and the descriptions are pretty cool. Hopefully, if I remember, I'll put a link in the description for the blog post as well. So if you want to go in there and have a look at the blog post, sometimes people screenshot those as well and put those in. You absolutely can. And like I've said many times before, it's not too late to pre-order. Of course it's not. The game releases on the 12th. You've still got a bit of time if you want to pre-order. You might be hanging on and waiting to see what the game looks like before you order. That's also fine. Pre-order bonuses, Macdon Pack. There's the Collector's Edition if you're interested in that. There's also the Year 1 bundles, 3 DLCs and the expansion coming in a year's time, a UK based map. If you get the opportunity at any point to use the partner code, MrSealyp, all caps, would help me massively. Other content creators are of course available if you wish. Hope you found all of this useful and informative in some way, shape or form. If you have, please give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do, as always, thanks for watching.